Could regulations on crypto actually skyrocket the price of Bitcoin and silver? Kind of an odd approach here, but please hear me out. Before I start this video, I have to say I'm not a financial advisor. None of my videos are to be taken as financial advice. So disclaimer, just for educational entertainment purposes based on my opinion. I have a weird thesis here. When I'm hearing the regulations going on, I'm hearing the crackdown on miners. I'm hearing Elon Musk criticize miners over their coal use and lack of renewable energy, although it's up for debate on how much renewable energy is really being used and if Bitcoin is actually helping renewable energy. Regardless, because that subject is in the limelight, what do you need for renewable energy? What do you need for solar panels? You need silver. You need a lot of it. Silver is the metal used in all of these devices, including the mining operations to mine the Bitcoin. An interesting stat that I was told recently in one of these Twitter chats, I've been lucky enough to be able to talk in some of these Twitter chats. I'm RJ Sultan on Twitter, at RJ Sultan if you want to go follow me on Twitter. It's been really great doing these Twitter chats. But someone brought this up in one of them and said, the mining operations, certain mining rigs have been going up in factors of like 10, 20, 30x. So we're all laughing in there saying, well, might have been a good idea just to buy the mining rigs and not the coin, based on that kind of return. That's an interesting situation because what do you need for all of this, for the mining, for all these computers needed, all the electronics, all this renewable energy that they want to gravitate towards? You need silver. At the same time that the dollar has been wildly diluted, there's the fiat currency structure right now is more wild than ever. So you have all of this dilution going on. You have this growing awareness towards renewable energy. And now you have regulation, and you have crackdowns on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Or crypto. I always say, I try to say crypto assets. Even I slip and say cryptocurrency. That to me is a storm that gravitates the money towards silver and Bitcoin. If I'm going to pick the best possible place in precious metals or, intangibles, let's say, to park my money, it's going to be silver. So in my personal opinion, I think it's foolish to be all in Bitcoin and foolish to have none. That's my personal take on it. I think silver and Bitcoin is the ultimate play because you have the best digital asset and you have the best physical asset. And when I say best, I mean the most likely to perform, the most likely to be adopted, and with silver specifically, the most undervalued. It's ridiculously undervalued at this point, in my personal opinion. So to have the best of both worlds is a great scenario here because they really do mix very well. If you need silver for renewable energy, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but that's the situation that we're in. Now, if regulation crackdowns happen on crypto, I think that would gravitate the money in cryptocurrency, I said crypto assets into Bitcoin. Here's why. It's the most established blockchain, and it is the coin that has been taken off of actual exchanges and put into cold storage far more than any other coin. So if they did do a regulation, if they did do a crackdown, they would basically be going after the altcoins. Because what do they care about? You've heard what Powell said recently. He talks about how, Bitcoin's just, we see it as just a digital gold, digital asset. He used the term asset, which is what we want Powell to be saying. When you think about a currency, now that's competing directly with the dollar. And that's what they have a problem with. So if regulations happened, I think they would be going after the cryptocurrencies. We say currencies, but they're really crypto assets. They would be going after the ones that are fast payment. They would be going after the ones that have a lot of supply, kind of like XRP. It makes a lot of sense for them to go after that ones. Not only does it make a lot of sense to go after those altcoins, but they're very easy to find. Bitcoin has been in our cold storages, and it's outside of the system. Institutions are holding it in cold storage, all these different ways to hold Bitcoin. And now if they go and attack an asset, so to speak, or to put a bunch of regulations on an asset class, the waters get murky pretty quick there. But you could very easily give something like XRP a very hard time, which is why XRP has been getting a very hard time and from a legal standpoint. When you have a lot of supply and you have the ability for quick payments, now you're trying to directly compete with a currency, and that is what the fiat currencies of the world have a problem with. So regulation, I think, is not something that's going to be geared for Bitcoin, because if you go and regulate an asset class, that means more regulations on all assets. It's in a much safer place. So the way I look at cryptocurrency as a whole, there's crypto assets. See, and I was trying to make this point is what I'm trying to do. The way I look at crypto as a whole is we have a bunch of assets and we have no ability to consider any of them a currency until the regulations go through, which I would imagine isn't going to be favorable for a currency. I want to go in the one crypto that is really designed to be an asset. You got a limited 21 million amount. You have the most established blockchain of any crypto. You have the most known crypto of all of them all by a landslide. You have the most diverse mining operations across the world. A lot of people are saying, it's only in China. There's actually a lot of mining operations here in the US. There's a lot of good stuff going on in Texas and different places where you'd be surprised how diversified these mining operations are becoming. So you have all of these different attributes that make Bitcoin the best asset, and they're all assets. So if they're defined as the definition of a currency, and I've said this many times, but for anybody that's just watching my video for the first time, the definition of a currency is being able, ironically, we still get taxed, but the definition of a currency is I get to buy something and it's not a taxable event, but we still pay sales tax, but I'm guessing we're referring more towards capital gains. So there's not a capital gains event, but there's still taxes. Don't get that wrong. There's taxes on taxes on taxes and a little bit more taxes after that, and then some taxes after we pass away. But that's what a currency is. You're able to only have to deal with sales tax. No crypto is able to buy something with. If you go and buy I think it's the Mavs is accepting Dogecoin. All these different places are accepting, or these small clothing type things, and you're able to buy like tickets and stuff for these smaller cryptocurrencies. If you bought early, you're creating a taxable event. So if you buy a T-shirt for $20 or something, or 20 worth of, say, Dogecoin, you now have a taxable event. If your cost average is, say, $3 on a $20 item, well, you have a $17 gain there, and that's a taxable event. So that is not a currency. We're inappropriately defining these cryptos, and I think the regulations that come down are going to be specifically on any crypto trying to be a currency. It's very obvious, because Powell already addressed this. Go and look up the last time, or look up Bitcoin Jerome Powell, and you will see that he says, oh, it's just that digital gold thing. It's just an asset, digital asset thing. If you're an asset, you're under that safety net. Not only that, but if you have these big companies like MicroStrategy, putting billions and billions of dollars into Bitcoin and converting their entire treasuries to Bitcoin, and now you have the Grayscale, and you have all these different institutions putting money in, you just got their legal team. When you're in Bitcoin, you got a multi-billion-dollar legal team, because if they go after Bitcoin and try to impose a bunch of regulations on an asset class, that damages them. That actually creates real damages for MicroStrategy, for Grayscale, for these different firms. That's pretty interesting to think about. And so I'm in Bitcoin for the long term, just like I'm in silver for the long term. I consider it an asset that I can leverage. So in the future, if I do want to get some money out of my Bitcoin, I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin. I'm going to leverage my Bitcoin and get a loan against it. Don't believe that stuff actually happens? Google it. It really does. BlockFi allows it. There's a lot of companies that are popping up allowing you to leverage your Bitcoin for a very fair loan against your Bitcoin. You use it as collateral and you get the cash wired to you. It's pretty brilliant, and it's super easy to do. You just send the Bitcoin, wire into your bank account. You pay off the loan, you get the Bitcoin right back. You never sold the Bitcoin, you never created a taxable event. Very interesting place to be when you consider it an asset class. Nobody is considering Bitcoin a currency. That is the biggest thing I want to say in this video, and I hope it really drove it home and might be a video that helps shed some awareness on this, because it's just not talked about enough. Now, I still think that it would be foolish to only be in the digital realm. And silver is something that is industrially used in industry, and you have a situation where now everybody's talking about renewable energy. So what a perfect storm that this is. The more regulations that come down, and guess what another regulation might be? You might have more regulations on the use of traditional power. If you're using from the grid and you're taking away from the grid and you're using coal, that might be part of future regulations. If the regulation is to have more solar panels, have more water turbines, have more of the wind turbines, you have a situation where that's a perfect storm for silver, specifically for anything with electronics, anything to do with solar panels. Anything Green Deal is going to further the jump in silver. So it can be artificially suppressed as much as it likes. But then on top of it, the beauty of silver is you have this industrial purpose. Ironically, the industrial purpose is very much so for renewable energy. On top of that, it's the monetary metal. It has always been a monetary metal. You have the best of both worlds. So for me personally, I still like gold, and I think gold will continue to go up. But I think silver, if I have to choose between silver and gold, especially in this scenario here, there's no comparison. It's an easy choice. You get so much for your dollar. If you're looking to get out of dollars and you want something that is more finite, more limited, Bitcoin and silver is in a perfect place right now. So again, I think regulations end up making the altcoins, the money from the altcoin, go into Bitcoin. And then again, it's like, how easy is it to find the altcoin? So if you're worried about Dogecoin becoming a currency, say Doge, skyrockets and gets to 200, 300 billion or something like that, you better believe it's going to get on the Fed's radar. You better believe they're going to be looking at that and being like, wait a minute, they want to be a quick payment mechanism? They want to be able to be a currency that you go and buy stuff with? Oh, whoa. We got to look into this. That's the thing that I wanted to really stress in this video. And then what's even worse is 30% of those are trusted in Robinhood. So you don't even own them. So if there's anything to take out of this video, own the physical. If you don't hold it, you don't own it, is the term for the physical silver world. All of us in the silver squeeze world know if you don't hold it, you don't own it. I like this specific bar right here. I want to hold it. I don't want it digital. I want it right here. That same phrase for cryptocurrency is not your keys, not your coins. So that would be another thing I want to stress in this video is if you do have Bitcoin, get it off of exchanges as fast as possible, because that's what's going to be targeted. That's going to be the easiest thing to go, okay, well, how much does Coinbase have? Okay, how much does Robinhood have? Okay, how much do they have? Perfect. Now we know exactly where they are, and we know the one wallet that it's in. Perfect. It's pretty easy to find that. So those were the things I really want to talk about in this video, and I hope it helps you. If it does help you, please do smash that like button. I know I say it every video, but it really does help if you smash the like button. It helps get this video out to more people, and the ultimate goal is to help spread this information as far as possible. With the situation on silver, I know the people think that a silver squeeze isn't possible. I beg to differ, because both Bitcoin and silver are so close in market cap. They're so close, and you see how much Bitcoin can move off of one tweet. Imagine you got the same type of scenario, but for silver. Imagine you got the same kind of traction, but for silver. They're not exactly so far off of each other. They're very close. And the other thing about the two is look at this scenario right now. And I actually took advantage of this. I actually bought quite a bit of Bitcoin on this dip. And how did I buy that? Because I had a lot of silver, which wasn't as volatile as the Bitcoin. So it's the best of both worlds. So when everybody went all in on Bitcoin, I happened to have more than 50% of my net worth in silver. Silver happened to hold its value when Bitcoin plummeted down from 60,000 to 30,000. So guess what? I can sell my silver and get Bitcoin. It's a perfect scenario. I can't stress how great it is to have the physical and the digital, and not only that, but to have the best of both of them. I think silver is the best of the physical, tangible world, and I think Bitcoin is the best of the digital asset world. That was basically all the points I wanted to go over in this video. I truly think it's going to be a great year for silver and Bitcoin. I'm watching it very close. The other thing I'm watching is that dollar index. The dollar index is looking very close to 90. It just keeps going, dipping down to 89, going back over 90, dipping down to 89, back over 90. It looks very ripe for a correction, in my personal opinion. And if the dollar index corrects, that means it's going to take more dollars to buy Bitcoin. It's going to take more dollars to buy silver. It also means if stocks go down and the dollar goes down at the same time, that's a double whammy of losses. Because even if the stock stays the same, if you have a $100 stock, but the dollar loses 25% of its buying power, you lost 25% because your stock stayed the same level. But that's another talk for a different video. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you at the next video. If there was some information here that you want to add to this, please do throw a comment down below. We all watch those comments and we all learn from each other in the comments. Also, watch out for these imposter accounts on YouTube and these comment chains where they try to spam you. Don't let YouTube comments solicit you. Be very careful of that. I will never personally solicit you in a YouTube comment. I won't ask you to contact me anywhere in a YouTube comment. They're all over YouTube right now, and I just really want to stress that because it's such a bummer when you wake up in the morning, because they do it at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's such a bummer to see those chains and all these different ways to possibly take advantage of the great community that we have. So be on the lookout for that, and don't let it distract you from making your voice heard, because we all learn from each other in these comments. If you disagree with this video, if you disagree that this regulation will drive more money into Bitcoin and drive more money into silver, please put a comment down below on why you disagree. I would appreciate a like, because a like really helps, to the point where, let me bust out my fancy like pillow. If you like this video, well, that's a sideways like. If you like, oh no, well, you could do that too. You could do that too. If you like the video, really would appreciate it. It really does help. But if you dislike the video, if you wanted to put a down vote, go ahead and do that and say why you don't agree. You know, that's how we learn from each other. And I'm very open to the criticism, and I'm sure other people in the comment section watching this video really want to hear your opinion as well. Thank you so much for being here. Signing out. See you at the next video. And don't forget to click that subscribe button.